Welcome to another Football Studies episode. I'm your host, Felipe Tobar. I'm here from Clemson University, and today we have a very special guest. We are welcoming James Tsismanakis. He's the CEO of Discover DeKalb Convention and Visitors Bureau, and also Sports DeKalb, which is going to be uh, what we're going to talk more in this podcast. Tsismanakis is also a PhD student at Clemson University, and he is now serving as a temporary lecturer of tourism management at the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Management program. James, welcome to Football Studies. A pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Felipe. I'm so excited to be here. It's been something that I've been looking forward to since we scheduled it. It's a great topic and really looking forward to jumping in.
Amazing. The audience is looking to my background, thinking we're gonna talk about football, American football, but no, we're gonna talk about the real football. This channel talks about soccer for the US listeners. And we're gonna be discussing a lot about the FIFA Club World Cup because Atlanta was a host city, and we're gonna link that with the FIFA World Cup, what DeKalb has done to promote its county in the light of these two events. So the first question, James, that we have here is around this destination branding through football, right? We know that DeKalb isn't always top of mind when people think of Georgia tourism, but looking back to the FIFA Club World Cup, how your organization, Discovery DeKalb, leveraged these tournaments to showcase the county as a destination for international visitors.
Well, a great question because the thing that we looked at is we actually formed a global sports committee, and thank you, Felipe, for being part of it. And from their guidance and all, we've looked at how to market and advertise the destination. And we know from Club Cup to World Cup, the world is looking at the United States. The world is looking at the state of Georgia, and the world is looking at Atlanta. With us being the close suburb to Atlanta, and actually some of Atlanta is in our DeKalb County, we started looking at ways to brand or bring awareness that DeKalb County exists, and DeKalb County is part of Atlanta Metro. So we looked at doing social media, but we looked at it with a very different spin. We met with the company Coevo, which is actually something Felipe brought to my attention, and we did a Spanish and Portuguese activation in Latin America, capital cities, and we did it through Instagram, Facebook, and a WhatsApp channel with bots or AI actually answering your questions. We also had a built landing page in Spanish and Portuguese, so you can go either direction or vice versa to get your questions answered. So that was our test run for Club Cup,
Mhm.
and we are looking already now at doing that towards the end of the year when the actual teams are announced to do throughout Europe as well as still in Latin America countries because it looks like Brazil, Mexico, and so Argentina, several other countries have a potential to come. But I'm
Mhm.
also looking at the fact that if you're interested in World Cup, no matter if what team is playing and you're near New York or Miami or different communities, you can still come to Atlanta. So we're
Mhm.
still branding the awareness of DeKalb County to the world.
Yeah, can you share which of these initiatives worked the best, or maybe didn't work as planned, and some of the reasons maybe why didn't work as planned?
Well, it was interesting when we did the Portuguese activation through Meta, WhatsApp, and all,
Mhm.
it had the highest numbers. But
Mhm.
when we did the Hispanic activation, it had the most responses, it had the most conversations.
Directions. Okay.
So, and we think that some of that was because of the politics going on with the
Mhm.
United States, and some of it was the politics with Brazil. So that we think, had an influence.
Okay.
But my job really is to get the word out.
Mhm.
So I have to basically ignore the political conversations going on with the United States and the world to get the word out. So we feel really good for a test model that
Mhm.
Brazil showed very promise because of its high numbers, and the Spanish population showed because of its conversation.
Yeah.
It worked so well that we're going to currently stop Brazil until around October, when flights now can be from Atlanta to
Hmm.
Brazil.
Yeah.
But we're going to turn the Spanish WhatsApp activation for in our feeder cities in North America, or like in the United States. So we're going to turn it on
Hmm.
very shortly to have marketing for Spanish in Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp in our feeder cities of the Southeast.
Okay.
So what we found is, for it being a short run of activation, it was already a good thing to have and a great opportunity to go forward with.
Mhm. Interesting. So, pretty much you're kind of sharing examples that you tested in 2025 and probably gonna scale up for
Right.
2026. Um, is there any challenge that you had during the Club World Cup that you definitely will avoid in 2026?
Yeah, the Club Cup was a big hurdle because there was no real conversation going on.
Mm-hmm.
It did appear a lot of conversations going on anywhere in the United States, but focusing on Atlanta, there was no partner conversations, there was no marketing, advertising, social media of almost any extent to promote the fact that Club Cup was here. We were
Mm-hmm.
trying to do things, but marketing around the concept of not being able to say FIFA was always very complicated. We did build a website and a Sports DeKalb site, that we had a countdown clock for international soccer event,
Uh-huh.
where we couldn't say FIFA, and we did build that out on both of our websites to lead up to Club Cup.
Yeah.
But Atlanta was not promoting it. It was a Mercedes Benz and a FIFA promotion.
Okay.
So that was very complicated to not have any main national push or even regional push for us to do our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned that you do have to have that mega city of Atlanta doing the heavy lifting for us to get our name out there at all. So
Yeah.
we did some promotions, like we already talked about. We did a car activation with Link and with Uber and Lyft. So we
Mm-hmm.
did have some visuals going on during
Okay.
Club Cup, Premier Cup, that we think is good.
Yeah.
But we learned some good lessons on how to maneuver better in the future, through the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it really wasn't being promoted and there wasn't any real effort. So I'm joining organizations, like I just met with the Atlanta Sister Cityhood Commission, to
Mm-hmm.
utilize the different people who are connected to their cities and countries
Okay.
to better leverage moving forward. So we learned a lot of nice lessons from the fact that not a lot was going on at all with Club Cup.
Mhm. And maybe viewers are thinking what you guys kind of have promoted to these international audiences in on social media and even in the Uber Lyft cards. Like, what are the images or the areas of the cab that you guys have showcased?
Well, some of the areas we're showcasing is Buford Highway, which is the international corridor, basically for Metro Atlanta, that
Mm-hmm.
runs through three cities, one straight drive, and it has all the different ethnic foods, cultures, stores. So we promote the fact you can come there. We've promoted it so much that we've invested in a documentary that will be aired by the end of the year for all the international film competitions, domestic competitions, but will also be a point to be able to educate the world about Buford Highway, and you can come to your country almost on Buford Highway and
Okay.
experience where you're from, or experience almost any country in the world right on Buford Highway. So we've started promoting that through the cars and through our activations. The documentary is going to majorly focus on promotions for next year.
Mm-hmm.
We've built a docudrama because it's a independent short film,
Yeah.
but I call it a docudrama because it makes a lot more sense, because it is true heritage of DeKalb County refugee soccer,
Okay.
with some main characters that are fictitious, but some main actors playing out the role, and it's going to be a 12-minute or so independent, but it's going to tie in DeKalb County multicultural, international culture, refugee culture to soccer, football. And we're
Mm-hmm.
going to use that also to be able to promote the assets of DeKalb County. So that's in the makes right now, and it'll be also in all the different films and used in marketing.
That's fantastic. There's a lot of storytelling and identity in that, and I think when the film comes out, the audience will have a blast. But the mega events, FIFA World Cup, FIFA Club World Cup, normally promise a lot of benefits for the local community, right? Like from business up to the residents in terms of quality of life. How how do you see that for the Club World Cup? Were there positive impacts from what you already shared? That was not very much promoted. Um, and if not, how that can be changed for the FIFA World Cup in 2026.
So we honestly did not see a lot from Club Cup. So that gave us again the opportunities to make some changes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I am seeing and hearing about at different meetings is Atlanta's doing a lot of infrastructure improvements
Okay.
for downtown. MARTA, they've got additional hotels that have just opened and in the process of opening for next year's international audience coming to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
DeKalb County, we're having meetings to educate our communities on able to do watch parties and
Mm-hmm.
having to do special events, capitalizing on the world here in June and July. So we're in the process of building those type of activities out. Um, the other thing we're doing is because a lot of the private planes, a lot of the promoters and people will be flying in to PDK Airport, which is right here in Chamblee, DeKalb,
Yeah.
and it's the second busiest airport in the state of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So the CEO of our county is actually working with the airport to get new entrances developed for the two entrances to the airport, new boards put up, and then we're actually working on boards at each of our fixed base operators where the jets will stay for the time period and the VIPs get off. They'll be able to see big monitors when they're leaving, walking them to DeKalb, to Chamblee, and have activities that they can
Yeah.
see right there. So that's a major improvement going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's streetscapes being worked on. There's promotions and opportunities with our metro, which is our train and our bus system, to be getting visitors from the hotels to the trains to the game. So it'll ease the driving and the traffic issues that Atlanta just naturally has with our population and population growth. So we're looking at a lot of different infrastructures, and big thing we're looking at is ways to have festival and events to bring
Okay.
people to showcase the county.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you think how do you would like or how would you like that your local community at DeKalb perceive DeKalb after the tournament into 2026? Um, how are you gonna be remembered?
Well, I think we like to be remembered as a very open, friendly community where we love having international visitors to our international population of DeKalb County, that we have great dining in DeKalb. We have some very unique little communities. 'Cause the thing about DeKalb is we're part of Atlanta, but we're all small communities with their
Mm-hmm.
own unique little concepts of the downtowns and their restaurants and their shopping. So we have like 13 different communities all in the county, all next to the big city of Atlanta. So we just want to showcase that you can get a lot of great experiences here. You
Mm-hmm.
can stay away from the hustle bustle of downtown, but you can easily get downtown when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that we just have great opportunities for quality of life and for great experiences when you're here. So we want the locals to understand why visitors are so important,
Mm-hmm.
but then we want the visitors to understand we do exist
Mm-hmm.
and want them to have a great experience to come back. Because that's the biggest thing with tourism. We want the return visits for the higher economic impact for a
Mm-hmm.
longer period of time.
So I imagine you guys are planning some many activities, activations with local restaurants to attract tourists to come maybe 1 or 2 days before the matches in Atlanta and experience the cap, or even
Right.
after the matches, right? Um, so is that going to be a thing, a main legacy, or are there any other legacies that you are envisioning?
Yeah, I think we're looking at something like a passport stamp type program to get you to experience the different assets of DeKalb County
Okay.
so that you might kind of run through them quickly because you're here for the games.
Hmm.
But from that, you go, I'd like to go back and spend more time because I did this and this, but I didn't get enough time to really experience it.
Okay.
Or, there were some festivals that may not always be June and July because of the heat, but we
Yeah.
produce in the summer for World Cup that can move to other time periods. And I'd like to come back and visit, the cab when it's not so brutal hot and
Hmm.
take advantage of this festival that I already went to that's just only going to get bigger because it'll be the first one for FIFA.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some of those as legacy. We're looking at just the ability to remarket to
Hmm.
these people, to have continued conversations with these people. One of the most interesting legacies I see right now are the three documentaries, or the two documentaries in the short, and the other part is the actual activation with WhatsApp.
Hmm.
Because through you educating me about WhatsApp, my trip to Europe with activations at WhatsApp that I use constantly over there, the United States doesn't really use WhatsApp at that level.
Hmm.
So I think an activation that we've already started with Cuevo in Latin American countries and capital cities, and we start doing that with Europe, that can
Uh-huh.
be a very long lasting activation with communication with, our friends, I guess, around the world
Hmm.
to continue to communicate with them. So I think that is a major lasting takeaway from this is just building those friendships, those relationships, and being able to get to them the most effective way that they like to be talked to.
Yeah. So it looks like DCAP is going to continue targeting football tourism, sport tourism after the World Cup.
Most definitely.
So, what is that going to change the identity of DCAP, or is going to complement an established identity? So, how do you see sport tourism in general now playing a positive role after the World Cup for DCAP?
Well, what's really interesting is you asked that question because through research for these documentaries and all, we found that DeKalb County Lakeside High School was the originator of soccer for Metro Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So we were actually kind of like the home that started the soccer movement in DeKalb County. The refugee movement with the building of the Fuji team and all, which has documentaries and movies and books out about Clarkston here in DeKalb County and the Fugees. So we're starting to just take advantage of and utilize that soccer football heritage.
Yeah.
But tie in today, we're moving towards trying to be the HBCU football home. So we're actually working on American football and international football soccer to be known in DeKalb County. So
Mm-hmm.
we're actually trying to cover both football worlds
Yeah.
in the future. So I think that's kind of where we're looking at a lasting goal and friendship and partnership and friendship, I guess.
Nice. James, I always finish my interviews with a similar question, the same question to every guest. And I never tell my guests before we do the podcast.
Ooh.
But the question is pretty simple, but can also be complex. But for you, what do you think football means for you? Can you summarize in maybe a couple sentences what football means to you?
Wow, that's hard. So I have to have full disclosure. Prior to probably the last year, soccer, football kind of meant absolutely nothing to me.
Okay.
In fact, I was at the Real Madrid stadium in, of course, Madrid, and for a Masters tour, and I was kind of like, why are we touring a soccer stadium? But I have to say, I regret now
Okay.
that 5, 6 years ago that I wasn't like overly excited, because now I'd give anything to go back and tour Real Madrid and tour Manchester United, and go to some of these places. I mean, your documentary on Real Madrid's history was very enlightening to me. So football has become extremely important to me now. I hate to
Hmm.
say that it didn't used to, but I guess I'm the convert. So being a convert to soccer football is maybe more important than the fact that I've always loved it. So
Hmm.
I think it's something very important in my life now going forward. Um, and everything with me revolves around my life, and my life revolves around work and around tourism. So it also is important because the fact is, it is like an international language with
Hmm.
football. I think you've put that into my head over the last year or so. So, and the world speaks soccer football. So it's important to me because of that. And I want the world to know that DeKalb County exists in Metro Atlanta, and we want them to come to visit. And so now I'm very excited about football, soccer in my life.
Amazing. Um, for the audience, where they can find more information about DCAB, about the sports initiatives, are there any social media websites where they can go to find out more?
Well, the first thing is you can go to discoverdecab.com. DeKalb is, of course, DEKALB. So discoverdecab.com. You can also go to sportsdecab.com. And they all are interchangeable. So you get to one, you get to the other. But from that, at the very bottom of the website, you can get links to our Facebook, Instagram, X,
Mhm.
um, TikTok.
Okay.
I think of what else we're missing. We have basically all the main channels that you can follow us on. You can communicate with us also on WhatsApp. There's a channel on
Mhm.
WhatsApp for Discover the Cab. So you can find us pretty much everywhere, and the website takes you everywhere. And we appreciate being on your podcast because you are on our podcast. You can also go to decabtalkstourism.com to see all of our podcasts and see the one with you. So we
Yep.
love this joint podcast concept now. You were on about a year ago, I guess.
Yep. And I
So
believe if the audience that is watching our episode today wants to come to the FIFA World Cup by accessing the platforms of DCAB, they also have access to all the activities that they can do while in the cab. They even can, I imagine you can confirm, book their hotels straight with
yes.
the WhatsApp.
So yeah, so WhatsApp, you can work towards booking your hotel if it's in the at least the Spanish Portuguese part of it. On our website, both Sports Cab and Discover the Cab, it has a booking engine right there. You can book out for the hotels. You can see all about our communities, figure out which is the best place you want to stay at, and which cultural aspect you maybe like better.
Mhm.
So we'll have events on there. We're working on a very special event with Felipe that we can announce later when we get all that
Yep.
worked up. I'm very excited about that concept. So we have a lot of different events that you can find on our website, and our website covers all of the communities in DeKalb County, and
Mhm.
then you can book our particular hotels for your stay in DeKalb. And then once we get the three documentary films up, they'll be on our Discover DeKalb and our YouTube page.
So there's everything is already planned, already ready for visitors. So take this opportunity and access the social media platforms of DCAB. You're gonna have everything there, so there's no excuses not to go to the World Cup and go through DCAB. James, it was a pleasure to have you here. I hope you see each other again very soon. Thank you.
Great pleasure. Thank you.